And right now I'm just finding what's where for channels. It's usually, yeah, it's going to be the last one I hit, right? There it is. I used to sing with a blues band, and this guy brought in a rack with 4 lights, and he plugged all 4 lights in, and he just kind of walked away from them. I said, well, there's got to be more to it than this, so I built a little box with 4 dimmer switches and 4 outlets, and I plugged it in, and I plugged each light in, and I started fading in and out and stuff like that, and playing with the lights, and the light show grew, and this buddy of mine come in, he sits down beside me, he turned the power off to half my show. Well, I didn't see him there. I just turned the power back on, and I thought I bumped it or something. I just kept doing what I was doing. Well, about the 3rd time, the power went off. I looked over and I said, dude, how long have you been here? And he says, oh, I've been here about half an hour, 45 minutes. At that moment, I realized I was destined to be a light show guy because I was so into what I was doing, I just didn't even see him there. He was oblivious. My whole world was centered on doing the lights for that moment in time for that band, and, you know, and I was using more of my brain to do something than I'd ever used before. You know, and it was something I loved to do. So that's kind of how I got to become Lightshow Bob. A buddy of mine's brother told me he found this vehicle for me because I was needing a vehicle to haul the light show, but it ran, so I bought it for 850 bucks, and I ran it for 8 years. The green room. It's been signed by all kinds of people. This is the director of the movie The Irishman, because they used my tour bus in the movie, and they used my truck for 15 days for 500 bucks, and they used it probably to block out anything that wasn't 1970s that was in the shot. All these people kept dropping by their set looking for me. That was the only problem they had with it. And the drivers, when they go from one place to the other, people would run up to them and say, hey, Lightshow Bob! You're not Lightshow Bob! Because they'd be driving around Eastern Market where people knew me. Yep, this was the hauler for 8 years for the light show. No, right now it's just on standby. Replacing it with the Jamboree. The Lightar came later. This band gave me a rack of lights, and they gave me this big rack of lights in this big, huge box, and it was like really hard to turn on and off, and it got to be a pain in the ass to carry around. And I remember the final day when I said I had to do something is I was loading the club barn on Woodward, and I scratched the ceiling with it, trying to load in this big truss. And I said, you know, that's it. So the next day I cut the truss loose, and I put a box with a bunch of outlets on the other end and started plugging my lighting into it, and that's when the true Lightar was born. The Lightar is this thing that I have here that it's my own invention. This is number 3. This is a piece of cypress wood from Florida that a friend of mine cut out of the swamp, and then my dad milled to a blank, and I took the blank and I fabricated the steel plates and wired it and so forth all myself. Made it into what it is now. I can run lights to the music and change effects, and I run about 80% of my light show with it. And this is number 3, and it kind of evolved a little bit. These are dimmers and stuff, and like I usually have sequence lighting for my 6 lights, my first 6 lights, and I put my floor cans, and sometimes I put strobes on it and so forth, and I can control flooding lighting from it, but it just gives me the ability to be really on point and on time with the lighting in the millisecond timing that you can't perceive the note being struck and the light coming on. It's simultaneous almost. You know, it takes me, this is probably 60 or 80 man hours or better just into this one Lightar. This is my baby.
That's gonna be pretty interesting to check that out there. And it hooks in, I see you got a Hubble connector, multi-pin. Oh, jeez. Holy shit.
Well, the time I met Lightshow Bob. So anyway, so I end up in the attic bar over in Hamtramck one night. Probably scouting a gig or something like that, checking out the bar or something. And I'm sitting there and I'm just amazed by like the lighting. It's actually on time with the band. If you're in a club on I think it was like a Tuesday or something like that, they're just gonna have the regular stage lights running, so they're not going to be in time, needless to say. And at the end of the song, the lights would go down and they'd come up. It was like, I'm like, what in the hell? So I'm running around this bar here and I have no idea what the hell's going on. So I'm asking the bar people, they don't know because they're all just like locals. They don't give a shit, you know, they're like doing their thing. The show ends, band's just kind of klutzing around and stuff like that. They're collecting their things and I go up to the guy, you know, what the hell was with the lights, man? I'm like, I want to shake that guy's hand. I'm like, he did a great job. You know, I mean, the music was on time with the lights and everything like that. And he was like, well, I'm the guy. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, I'm Lightshow Bob.
My setups can range from 4 to 5 hours for an indoor show, you know. It depends on the show. The Dally in the Alley, I literally, if I get up at 10 o'clock Friday morning, I'm up from Friday morning at 10 o'clock till 2 a.m. Sunday morning, and then I don't quite tear all my stuff down. I just tear down the little stuff that can disappear. And then I crash out in my Airstream travel trailer or my tour bus, and I get up in the morning and I finish tearing down, and I get out of there and go home and get some real sleep.
Well, I think it's a unique thing, you know, the way he does it, what he puts into it, you know, the effort that he puts into it is really amazing. You know, the time that he takes to set up and, you know, the amount of, just the amount of stuff. I don't know how else to word it simply, but he has so much stuff compared to what a normal light show would be. They'd have less lights that were a lot more sophisticated. And he has just a calligraphy of stuff. It's unbelievable, you know, and altogether it makes Lightshow Bob. It's really unique.
I get it laid out to where it'll fit, so I'm happy with it for a layout, and then I just basically assemble it. I get the towers up and stuff like that. Come on, baby. Don't fight with me. Work with me. Every light show's got to have a disco ball. Come on, man. He's sacrilegious if I didn't have a disco ball. That's the original one, yeah. I've had it for 14 years, 15 years, and there's some bulbs in here that I've never changed in the 15 years that I've had it. These are my sequence lighting. It's always green, blue, red, and then green. The color pattern I got just kind of came about out of necessity. You know, it's the colors that I came up with to start with, and I just stuck with it.
His passion is definitely relentless for the light show. And the guy rolls out scaffoldings of lights. Basically, he's not obviously, you know, gonna make M&M money, but who gives a shit? He's doing it because it's fun. I really have a lot of respect for what he pours his heart out into. I think in the end, he'll pay more attention to more of a personal value of each band's show that he does because, you know, he's Lightshow Bob, professional, shows up on time, plays the lights, gets into your music, makes your band look better than it would have if he was not there.
Oh yeah, any show I get excited for. It's, you know, always trying to get set up on time and have it look the way I want it to look, and especially, you know, if I'm going to a venue I've never been to, I don't know what the reception I'm gonna get from the people is. You know, a lot of times I show up and they welcome me with open arms. You know, they know who I am already. You know, if I'm not bringing a generator, I can go right to a power box and tap into their power and set my stuff up with no questions, you know. Sometimes I go, they don't know who I am, they don't think I know what I'm doing, they kind of, you know, they're real worried I'm gonna burn the joint down or something, you know. We don't want any white snake incidents, you know. There's no pyrotechnics in the show. Well, the power is kind of sketchy here, so I just bring my own power. Right now, I'm just locking up the power so that it's still here when it's I'm done. Okay, let's see what happens. Helps if I turn the freaking gas on. I always tell people it's not always who's there, it might be who they know, you know? You never know. And if I'm gonna take the time to set all my stuff up, I'm gonna get the best run time out of it I can. I'm gonna do the best I can with the time I got, because it takes a while to set the stuff up. It's a lot of work, but the end result is worth it. It's hard, I have to push myself, you know. I may have the energy of a 20-year-old, but I'm not 20 anymore, so, you know, it takes that little extra oomph to get me going, you know. I feel I'm getting ready to take it to the next level. You keep putting the positive energy out there and positive energy out there, and eventually it's going to come back. You know, my big dream is to go on tour. I mean, I'm not looking to get rich. I just want to make a living and have a few decent things. You know, maybe have a new tour bus, something where I can, if it broke down, I can just call somebody to pay them to fix it, not fix it myself, you know? I do it because I love to perform and I love to entertain. It's what I love to do. It's my release, my stress release from life. It's gonna have to work.